Bretman Rock has found a way to turn internet popularity into global fame.
Did you ever think you'd get to this level of success at 21?
This is a full coverage, so coverage means you're covering your age. Hi, MTV. Come. I did not even see you there. Brett, like this lipstick does not match your look. I can't find it. Oh my god. What are you looking for? I'm looking for where the fuck I asked for your opinion, bitch. Stop. Stop. Bitch. This bitch got me fucked up. It's hard to not have confidence when all you were when you were a kid was celebrated.
Bretman Rock was just one of many celebrities who exploited AAVE and other cultural contributions of Black Americans in his rise to fame.
First of all, I've literally never liked him.
They've put a man, I don't know his name, I'm happy to say.
They now have a guy on the cover?
Straight men do not want to see that.
My biggest flex is the fact that I'm fucking Bretman Rock. Honestly.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. I apologize for not making a video in so long. I actually started making this video on Bretman Rock because I wanted to do something more lighthearted. And then of course I dug too deep and came across some controversy and drama. So before we start, I do want to clarify a few things, that this video is not an attempt to cancel Bretman Rock. The point of this video is to highlight his success, but to also acknowledge that the criticism exists and use this as an opportunity for us to learn from. But before we dig deep, I want to quickly talk about today's sponsor, Atlas VPN. With more than 6 million users worldwide, Atlas VPN is a service that makes internet accessible for everyone and protects you from threats like hackers and trackers. So I've been using Atlas VPN for more than a year now, and right off the bat, the main thing that I use it for is when I want to stream content from other countries that aren't accessible where I'm at. With just one click, I instantly have access to all this other content from the country that I've chosen. What's become a habit for me is that whenever I connect to public Wi-Fi, whether on my laptop and or on my phone, I always connect to Atlas VPN to protect my devices from malicious ads, trackers, and hackers that try to steal your data. Atlas VPN will also notify you when someone is trying to steal your data. It can also save you money when you're doing online shopping because of the amazing deals it will help you get. This includes for online subscriptions like Netflix and Spotify, or when you're booking flights and hotels, and so much more. You can get the most affordable service in the market for just $1.70 a month, and that comes with extra 6 months with a 30-day money-back guarantee. This Black Friday deal is their best offer of the year, but it's also only for a limited time, so if that interests you, make sure you guys check it out with my link and code in the description down below. So let's start from the very beginning. Who exactly is Bretman Rock? Bretman Rock was born in the Philippines in 1998. He was named after Bret Hart and The Rock because his father was a huge wrestling fan. He grew up in the Philippines until he was 7 years old and migrated to Hawaii to join his mother and 2 siblings. Meanwhile, his father stayed back home in the Philippines. Bretman has openly talked about how they never had much growing up. He and his siblings rarely saw their mother growing up because she was always busy working 3 jobs to single-handedly provide for her children. Despite his humble childhood, Bretman had big dreams and goals set for his future. He knew that from a young age he was destined to be a star and ready to work hard for it. He wasn't too sure how he was going to do it until he discovered the world of beauty.
My first beauty inspiration would have to be my grandma.
Growing up, Bretman was fascinated by the art of makeup as he watched his grandma get ready for church.
Hello everybody, this is Bob Speedy. Today I am going to show you how you can contour your face.
He later discovered the beauty world on YouTube, which he says,
I was just in awe and I fell in love with women and vanity and internet, really.
He began experimenting with makeup and eventually started wearing it to high school. Makeup became his form of therapy. It allowed him to put on this character, Bretman Rock. And then he started making makeup tutorial videos. But unlike most videos out there, his videos were funny.
So today I'm going to show you guys how I contour and highlight my face. This is a full coverage, so coverage means you're covering your age. Dab and paint that bitch, yes. And if you're extra ugly, get the concealer and conceal all that.
In the summer of freshman year 2015, his videos started to go viral, and that's when things really changed for him.
Bretman Rock this morning, joining the Good Morning Hawaii team.
Thanks for having me. Are we done? Some dumb bitch just said my eyelashes were coming off. Bitch. These are super glued, hot glued, gorilla glued the fuck on, bitch. They could stand on a motherfucking hurricane, tsunami. Girl, this dumbass bitch wanna come to me talk about your face doesn't even match your foundation. Bitch, I know how to fucking match my foundation to my neck, my back, leg, my pussy, and my crack, bitch. Let a bitch motherfucking know.
Bretman's earlier content were mainly comedic makeup tutorials, but he also posted a bunch of random everyday life moments which were surprisingly very entertaining because of who he was and his character.
So I went to the store looking all cute and shit, bitch. You know the motherfucking drill. And these two bitches was talking shit about me in Tagalog, and I was like, bitch, I fucking understand you. So I was like, hoy, ang bahong hininga nyo, parang tae talaga. Okay, class, listen! Today we are going to be taking notes. Please take out your pens and highlighters. You said pens and highlighters. That's what I'm doing. Vape stash. Which one do you press? Round two.
He would post literally just whatever he wanted to do. He often posted a lot of content with his sister, Princess May.
Who is prettier, you or your sister?
I feel like she's cuter than me if you are like, if your vision is blurry-ish. Never have I ever been ugly. Put that down, bitch. Are you fucking serious?
He would also cosplay a lot of random characters like Pia Mia,
Touch me! Touch me!
Dora the Explorer, Ariel the Mermaid.
Hello everybody, I am Ariel's twin sister, Areola, or y'all can call me Nipple, or whatever.
He was also known for his iconic expression.
Bitch, it's 2 syllables.
Bretman eventually made it big as a beauty influencer, but today he's gone beyond the beauty influencer world and has made it really big as a social media star.
A lot of like my achievements are also here because I like to remind myself that I'm a bad
Over the years, he's achieved numerous milestones and awards to honor his social media work.
This award is for all of the Asian Americans who believes in me, all of the Pacific Islanders, and most importantly, this is for all of the LGBTQ.
He also made history and broke boundaries by being the first openly gay man to appear on the cover of Playboy.
It's a dude in the bunny costume.
They've put a man on the cover of their magazine. I don't know his name, I'm happy to say.
This is how irrelevant they are that they're looking for something to get them out of the dumpster fire.
They now have a guy on the cover?
That's a guy, huh?
I don't even understand how Playboy works anymore.
But Bretman Rock. Bretman Rock. There we go. We don't want to see you shaking your ass.
But just seeing how mad like a cover triggered like straight men, and like just seeing those like comments with like, I'm canceling my subscription. I'm like, girl, they stopped producing in like 2016. Wait. You're just hating to hate.
Yeah. The young Bretman Rock went from making MTV parodies.
Hi MTV. I did not see you there. Now I'm gonna show you guys my pool. Come. Hi MTV. Come. I did not even see you there. So this is my crib.
To now actually having his own MTV reality series.
The newest MTV reality star.
A 24-year-old Filipino-American immigrant who started from nothing became one of the biggest social media stars today.
I did all of this shit on my own. From the fucking ground up, everything in my fucking house I own and I worked hard for. And I've always dreamt of having a stripper pole in my room. It's crazy, like things that I used to think about when I was a kid is literally, it became my house.
So how exactly did he do it? When I rewatch a lot of his old YouTube videos, I noticed that Bretman doesn't need any video editing to be funny because that's just his character.
I was coughing, girl. Girl, that is drier than a pussy, but girl, food is food.
Even though his humor is a huge part of what makes him Bretman Rock, I think what makes Bretman very wholesome and down to earth to his followers is that throughout his journey of success and fame, he's remained close and true to those who have been with him from the start. By unapologetically being himself, he's become this fierce role model who challenges the gender norms constructed by society. What I find even more interesting is how all of this is tied to his positive upbringing that celebrated him and let him express himself with no boundaries.
When you grow up broke you kind of don't have a choice. Like, my first skinny jeans were like my mom's.
Growing up, he didn't have the privilege to buy brand new clothing. He and his family would get clothes from the flea markets where they don't separate gendered clothing. So you basically just pick out what fits you and what suits you, regardless of whether it was made for a man or a woman.
My fashion sense is honestly my dad being so comfortable in his own skin as well. Like, he was this very masculine bro, but also like didn't give a fuck if he was wearing like my mom's like floral shirts all the time. Where I grew up, we didn't have that much electricity, but when we did, the electricity that would work were like our DVD players. And so I just grew up watching so many like music videos from Queens and Kiss and Prince even. And so I saw what they were wearing and I was like, oh my God. Those were like 70s, 80s icons, you know? And they were wearing like women's clothes, makeup. And I was like, what happened in the 30 years? Because that was like celebrated in the 70s. And then like now in like the 2000s, like, why can't I do that? Like, what happened in our society, you know?
Now I want to do more like masculinity stuff and like really show more of that side of Bretman Rock. Because I grew up playing sports. I grew up like being dirty. I didn't grow up putting makeup on. It's cool to show both that like masculine and feminine side of me.
Yes, and you don't have to just be stuck in one box.
For sure.
Bretman's childhood story really highlights the importance of how our upbringing can have a huge impact on our self-esteem and self-confidence.
My confidence is a product of who I surround myself with, I think. A lot of the things that I do today is because of the boldness that I was when I was a kid. I was just so celebrated. Like my teachers, I would go to the water plays in a two-piece bikinis, and I was always allowed to play and be in the girls' line. And when we would play volleyball, my PE teachers would ask me like, do you want to play with the boys or with the girls? Like, it's hard to not have confidence when all you were when you were a kid was celebrated
and accepted and encouraged.
But unfortunately, this bold, sassy persona of his has also sparked controversy.
Talk about why he bothers me so much. First of all, I've literally never liked him. I didn't like him when he was on Vine. I didn't like him when he moved over to YouTube. I think it's very strange when non-black people build their entire personalities around adopting AAVE and using a Blaccent to be funny.
Yes, I think Bretman Rock is sexy and seems like a genuinely nice person. No, I am not comfortable with his Blaccent and history of mocking black women. Y'all really let Bretman use a Blaccent his whole career. I love Bretman Rock, but how are you from Hawaii with a Blaccent? Like, it's not adding up. Bretman has been labeled as anti-black. He has been criticized for building his career off appropriating and mocking black culture. His persona and humor are based on perpetuating negative stereotypes of black women. We have to understand that this situation is not black and white. So I'll be taking into account the context and trying to understand all the different perspectives in order to have a proper discussion about this criticism. So before we start, what exactly is a Blaccent?
No matter what I do, I get my makeup done, now I'm black. Get the out of here. Period, period, I made it out the hood. I came from nothing.
To put on a Blaccent is when a non-black person imitates the way a black person speaks. In this context, the imitation is particularly of AAVE, African American Vernacular English. A lot of the popular words and phrases used today, especially amongst Gen Z, is traced back to AAVE. These words and phrases are often misidentified as gay lingo or internet slang. AAVE was developed by African Americans who were torn from their homelands and forced to be slaves in the US. This forced them to develop their own version of English based on what they could understand of English.
She here.
Right, she here.
Now, Ms. Von Cook, that's just bad English, isn't it? How can you say that's a language?
No, that's different English.
It's considered broken English, Ebonics, slang. I remember getting corrected on so many times where when I used to say finna, I'm finna go do this. They'd be like, wait, what? What? You finna do what? And they'd be like, you're about to go over here.
For the longest time, AAVE has been ridiculed and labeled as broken English. In the US, African Americans who do speak AAVE have to deal with major consequences such as putting up with racial insults and systematic racism. Now that we have a better understanding of AAVE and Blaccent, what is the issue with Bretman using it?
Bitch, the fuck? Bitch, period. Oh my god. Yes. How to be fierce. And a beanie to show them that you don't give a fuck.
The black community needs to discuss what exactly is black culture because Bretman doesn't act black. He's sassy and flamboyant. I question if they look at it more as though the gay community's vernacular rather than black women. I would call him ignorant if anything. It's not uncommon for non-black people, especially gay men, to use AAVE and a Blaccent to put on a sassy persona. As more queer shows and culture become popular, more gay men may adopt the use of AAVE and mannerisms from black people, thinking they're simply mimicking other gay men.
Yes. Yes, balance. Yes, symmetry. I want to serve face. Work, honey, you're on the blogs. Yes. Love to give face.
You do? That face ain't moving. Shady boo. I'm the one to be.
Serving our country with opulence.
But in actuality, it originates from African American women. The history goes back to the 1920s when drag culture began in Harlem, New York.
You have space to do all that you intend to.
The underground drag ball scene was a safe space for people such as gay men and trans women of color who were discriminated against in mainstream society. During this time, they were looking to claim femininity and challenge heterosexual ideals of masculinity. So they took their inspiration from African American women who at the time were symbolic of femininity. Their use of AAVE and mannerisms inspired by African American women was eventually adopted by queer white people and then followed by straight people, which is what we're witnessing now as it has made its way into pop culture.
It's the honesty and loyalty for me. It's that booty for me.
It's the bland cultural appropriation for me.
Yo, I gotta understand that I'm not paying for shit.
Serving very much funeral home. Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely bussin'. Bussin'.
Yeah. Drop your trim in. It was a long ass time ago, girl. We've been...
Kill me, get your ass in here. Come on, girl.
Another issue with this is that it erases the long history of its African American roots when it's commonly misidentified as Gen Z or internet slang.
Child, anyways, like that's a me, period, sis, whatever, snatch, all that. It's very much like internet culture.
So when it becomes mainstream, people, especially non-native English speakers, who use AAVE and a Blaccent may think they're simply mimicking pop or internet culture. People who are unaware of the historical context may also use AAVE and a Blaccent as a form of admiration of black culture without any harmful intentions. This brings us to the perspective that TikToker Ellie Vega has provided as an Asian American.
Part 2 on Asian Americans using the Blaccent.
In her TikTok, she explains that Asian Americans like Bretman may feel more connected to a certain culture and adapt to it based on where they grew up or the media they consumed. She isn't excusing the exploitation of black culture. Instead, she talks about how this links back to a bigger issue of how normalized it is in America to exploit black people and their culture for entertainment and capital gain while continuing to systematically oppress black Americans.
Bretman and Bretman Rock are definitely two different bitches. What people expect when they meet me is like, bitch this, bitch that. I think people always expect me to be over the top. People get shocked when I'm actually like pretty chill. I'm like...
Bretman Rock is a social media personality.
Very much that. Bretman Rock is just when we're recording. Hey, Bretman Rock.
Therefore, it's fair to say that this sassy and loud persona is technically a character or a part of him that he can choose to put on. This brings us to the criticism that Bretman cosplays the angry black woman stereotype. People calling Bretman Rock unproblematic when literally his entire personality is the loud ghetto black woman stereotype. When are we as society going to address that Bretman Rock stole his entire personality from black women? He gets to use AAVE and perpetuate stereotypes that have hurt and cost the lives of so many black people. Family members of mine that are black have been harassed and bullied for speaking AAVE. Bretman's cool or whatever, but the persona he benefits off is not his own. When looking back at his earlier content, it's quite hard to deny that a lot of his characters did resemble this angry black women stereotype.
Bitch, I already told you what the fuck is wrong with me, the fuck? Hey, SpongeBob, looking at the bitch, I heard you a motherfucker talk shit about me. You wanna... It's Tyresha, what's happening? Yes. 3 seconds till I whoop your ass. 1. What do you have to say about this? Waiting a long, periodically time. No, bitch, hold my poodle. I'm finna whoop your ass, bitch. I'm finna whoop your ass. Now leave the for a long periodic time on your face.
This negative stereotype and a lot of other black negative stereotypes stem from the start of minstrel shows.
Who was that lady I saw you with this afternoon? That was no lady. That was my wife.
The first few minstrel shows began in the early 1800s, which is literally less than 200 years ago. It was basically a popular form of racist entertainment in the US, which mainly consisted of white performers painting their faces black and dressing up as caricatures of black people.
Well, why don't you get a job and go to work? You almost had me a job this morning. No, stupid. You mean a civil service examination.
The stereotypes depicted the enslaved Africans as lazy, stupid, ridiculous, and hypersexual beings who were also prone to theft. The angry black woman stereotypes were often played by overweight white men who painted their faces black and wore fat suits to make black women look less human, unfeminine, and ugly. The minstrel shows desensitized white people from the true horrors of slavery by promoting this false idea that black people were happy to be slaves and always ready to please their white masters. The worst part about these minstrel shows was that the white audiences genuinely believed that this was an authentic representation of black people and their culture. It was a perfect way for white people to reaffirm their racism. As the minstrel shows became more popular, more people would internalize the negative stereotypes and racist beliefs. Even though the minstrel shows finally came to an end, they popularized racial parodies and stereotypes as a family amusement, an ongoing issue that has persisted throughout the history of film and television. So when you take into account the era of when Bretman posted his earlier content, we have to realize that it was relatively normal to post and consume racial stereotype humor content without really understanding its consequences.
He's black! Can I get some sugar?
Will, I couldn't find anything to eat, so I cooked your dog. I was kidding. Look how excited you were, you monster.
To make matters worse, this type of content would be pushed by social media platforms like YouTube and Vine by making these videos go viral and providing more social media fame to these content creators. As a result, it normalized this behavior to their millions of viewers, who a large percentage is of young people. And as we know, young people are very impressionable and will mimic what they see without much thought. So was it really a surprise that the young Bretman Rock who wanted fame gravitated towards the same formula that brought success to other social media content creators? The last point that I want to bring out is the anti-blackness that still persists in Asian countries like Bretman Rock's home country, the Philippines.
Ngunit sa pagkakataong ito, tulungan kita magpaganda. Nita Negrita.
For centuries in Asia, there has been this deeply rooted belief that being lighter skinned is better than being darker skinned. Today, this colorist ideology still exists because of the skin whitening and bleaching industry, which goes back to white supremacy culture and colonialism. I can say from firsthand experience that growing up in Southeast Asia, it is so normalized to discriminate and mock people with darker skin. I also did a video on this if you want to check out, which I'll link down. My point is, Southeast Asians like Bretman Rock himself may have internalized anti-black beliefs without really understanding it or even being aware of it, because it's not a topic that's discussed or educated about.
That's just bad English, isn't it? How could you say that's a language?
No, that's different English. Our blackness isn't accepted in a lot of spaces that are critical for our success and our survival. A lot of times we have to dilute and we have to put on a mask.
The expansion and evolution of language are inevitable, so AAVE becoming popular shouldn't seem like a big issue. However, when you take into account the historical context of more than 400 years of black culture in America being misappropriated, demonized, misattributed, and hidden, it makes sense as to why it is an issue to witness this widespread of non-black people selectively essentially using an inauthentic black persona for personal gain and or to appeal to humor, a practice that cultural critics argue has disturbing similarities to the history of blackface performers who were rewarded and celebrated for mocking black people and their culture.
And I'm not saying he's being malicious with it or anything, but overall it is very clear that a lot of Bretman's clout, which directly translates into profits, comes from attaching himself to these specific aspects of Black American culture.
With the context and perspective I've discussed in this video, I feel like there's a higher chance that Bretman is simply not aware of how his persona is an issue, especially if no one has directly confronted him about it. I personally had no idea about these issues until I started working on this video. Bretman and his content has undoubtedly been a positive impact to millions of followers, but regardless of his intentions, it doesn't take away the fact that his persona, which he uses to appeal to humor and gain fame, does ultimately come from black culture and black women. I'm really curious to know what you guys have to say about this whole situation and what you think of Bretman Rock. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned something new from it. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to click like and subscribe to my channel. Turn on the notification button down below so you don't miss out on my upcoming videos. If you also have any video suggestions or topics you'd want me to look into, do comment that down below. Sharing this video really helps to spread awareness and also really helps with my channel, so I really appreciate if you share my videos. Don't forget to check out the Atlas VPN Black Friday deal. That's it for today's video, and I will see you guys next time.